Keep going. What's up and welcome to Story Mode, a video game podcast. Keep humming. I'm your host, Jesse Munro, and I'm joined by Simon Evans and Kyran
Pokemon!
That's the one. Guess what we're talking about today on today's episode? That's right,
It's Digimon.
God of War Ragnarok. Look, guys, we've got Pokemon fever. And it isn't always a good thing to have.
No.
And we'll get into that more shortly. But before we get into the main topic for today, Kyran, Simon, how are you stunning creatures of the deep going?
The deep.
Surprisingly undeep today, and I'm slightly uncomfortable as a result. I'm not as moist, as wet of a boy as I like to be. And this is your fault. You've summoned me from the depths to record this podcast.
Can you not eat two bigger strings in front of me sensually and then talk about how wet you're not? Come on, man.
For our audio-only listeners, in the pre-show, I revealed the fact that I have two cheese strings.
If you didn't get to see it, you come watch us on twitch.tv/StormWordAUS. Guys, I've got something running through my veins that I have not had running through me circulatory system for a while, okay? Hence the...
It's a cheese string.
It's not cheese, okay? There's enough cheese clogging up my heart, okay? You're not my doctor or my dad. Nope, I'm on the juice. That's right. The Ribena is back in circulation, okay?
Yeah, baby.
If you can hear that, audio listeners, a bit of ASMR.
My cat is staring at me as I'm eating this cheese, and she's like, "Oh,
Tell your cat
What's
to
that?
subscribe. Like and subscribe.
I don't
This
think
shit
she
ain't free.
can. She doesn't have thumbs, and she isn't old enough to have a YouTube account
Not that attitude.
or a Twitch account or
We have a
Twitter
YouTube account. You can find it. Story Mode Gaming. We put stuff up there, and we'll be putting up more stuff there. Look, if I keep saying it, it'll eventually happen. Okay?
It'll appear.
It'll appear. It'll appear one day. That's how all of our stuff happens. You can't just wait, and then one day it's there. It's great. I'm not having a mental breakdown at all. It is fine. Kyran, how are you?
I'm good. I'm as I'm sure we'll talk about soon. I'm just living the life of adapting to a new social media, which is
Social media.
a
Well,
lot.
all right, fuck it. Let's just jump in. We are all part of the hive now.
Hive mind.
After old mate Elon Musk, everyone's favorite trillionaire, fucked Twitter into, well, is currently fucking Twitter into oblivion. Everyone's trying to jump ship because, let's face it, we all need that little ego boost every now and then of somebody liking our posts. I know I definitely do.
You're welcome, by the way.
Suddenly, we all jumped to something called Hive because I saw a bunch of gaming journalists and gaming personalities jumped to it. I'm like, screw it, I'll give it a go. Downloaded it, and I'm like, oh wait, this actually looks good. It runs well. It looks interesting. It looks like the best features of a bunch of different social media platforms. And I know, what's the other one? Mastodon, whatever.
Mastodon, yes.
Yeah, Mastodon.
Shit name. What? Like, calm down. Mastodon.
Not a
calm
great
down.
app either. Too confusing. I know.
Exactly.
If
I
spent
heard
the
it was
time-
all about like
it'd be
server
good.
this and server that.
Yeah.
Like half the shit I give Discord is like it's all server based, and I don't know where the fuck I'm going with everything. I don't want to do that in like my actual social media. Facebook is.
Ugh.
I'm good.
Ugh.
No, wait. Look. Well, interesting. Facebook. I still use it a lot. For one thing, 5-minute craft videos, and I'm pretty sure I've spoken about these in the podcast before.
You have,
but I keep
definitely.
watching them. I watched one pre-show because I need to get in the mood, and it was like how to make your own like shoes, I guess.
What?
And this woman had like a high heel on, okay, and she puts it into some like putty, okay, and she lets it set, takes it out, pours in some like gypsum, so it solidifies, takes it out, turns it upside down, so she has like the bottom of a high heel basically, puts a bit of perspex on the top of it, heats it with a heat gun, and bends it with some tongs, okay, to form over the bottom of this heel. Now, mind you, think about a rectangle of perspex, how it wouldn't perfectly, you couldn't then like bend it around and make that shoe, could you? You can't make like Cinderella's glass slipper with that, can you? You're going to have a lot of extra material. So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Turns it around, let it dry, pours, I don't know, plastic into it. Okay, let it solidify so there's a bit of a base. Okay, 'cause you can't just put your foot straight into it. What are we? Animals? No. At that point, where is it? So the bottom of it is a heel. The top of it looks like a square of perspex has been bent. There's nothing actually clasping it over the foot. It's just, it looks like a plastic flower that you put your foot into.
This is weird. This is
I hate it.
I don't like this.
no.
Like, where am I going to get so much perspex from to make new shoes?
I deactivated my Facebook a while ago because I partially got sick of all of the right wing like extremist bullshit that was being flung at me, regardless of my actual.
You made a smart move coming to Twitter.
Yeah,
Smart.
Well, because at least Twitter I knew was a dumpster fire going into it, and I was prepared for the hilarity that ensued. And so with Facebook, I was like, you know what, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of the way the algorithm works. I'm sick of the interface. I kind of hate it. It's an old person app at this point. It's just parents and boomers just using it. And I'm like, all right, you know what, I'm done.
Metaverse? Sorry? Have you heard of a little thing Simon called The Future? Because it's here in a big way.
All right, sure thing, Zuckerberg.
I know you're from Perth, but we've invented something called the third dimension, okay? And we're about to enter it.
No, you're
About to.
not.
I'm already there, baby.
Well, we're already there, baby.
I'm gonna go
$1,000 drop on that PSVR 2.
But yeah, so I was like, you know what, I'm sick of this. I'm gonna go over to Twitter because Twitter I know is shambles, but it's fun. It's like watching a train wreck. It is fun. You're like, oh god, I should not be watching this with my actual human eyeballs, but here I am watching it, and it's very entertaining. And yeah, I was like, shit. Now that Twitter's going down the toilet, you know, circling the pipes, as it were. I was like,
Elon Musk tried to fight Trent Reznor today.
Like, he's just
It's so weird.
I was like, oh, do I have to go back to Facebook? Because I really don't want to. And then everyone's like, come follow me on The Hive. And I'm like, all right.
So apparently the Hive's been around for a while. It's run by 2 people. And yeah, it's sort of an amalgamate. It reminds me a bit of a cross between like Tumblr and Twitter because it seems to be a bit more image based, but the layout's really nice.
It's also got the music feature of MySpace, though.
Okay,
I
can't
use
use it
it
on
because I'm on
Android.
Android, but
Yeah.
Yep, same here. Oh my god, wait, I do have an iPhone.
This is Android blasphemy.
it is.
It is
Unacceptable.
Like, we've all got Androids here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're better than most other people. Like,
Yes.
we can agree on that.
Absolutely.
Why don't we get these features?
I don't
first?
know. It's unfair.
Not only should we get these features first, we should be the only ones to get them.
I mean,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad someone finally said it, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
I want only people with Android phones and our Engage brethren.
Engage.
Those
Engage
who
friend of the show.
held on for so long, they can jump on board as well. But yeah, look, the music thing is actually what caught my eye. Because, look, as much as it's a bit of a fucking meme, the whole like MySpace shit, which I did log into my MySpace recently.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh boy,
Wow.
I look exactly the same. I'll get a haircut one day. The music thing I always like because it does make your account personable. Twitter felt a little bit stale and static at times. Like,
Yeah, totally.
it lacked personality.
It
This
did.
is nice. You can color your page and stuff like that. Bring back the days we were back on MySpace. You could like recode your page. Because I remember stealing a band's background. Sorry, Valencia, if you're listening. But I stole their background and I changed a few things. I'm like, hell's yeah, this is the best. I'm like staying up until like 3 a.m. looking for new backgrounds and shit.
Only if we also bring back the top 8 friends.
I agree.
Bring it
Oh
back.
man. And that way you can tell people that you're annoyed with them. It's like,
Yeah.
drop it
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
Just
Throw 'em
throw it,
out.
aren't you?
Nah, Tom's in
Bring
here
back
now.
that. Bring back that. Tom's back. Bring back that.
Yeah,
And let
all
us
Tom
put
wanted
lyrics.
was to be our friend.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
we put lyrics into our names like MSN Messenger.
Yep.
So you can give subtle hints to people.
I love it. Let's go.
Yeah. Back with MSN when you used to
Guys, we are so fucking old.
change
We
your
are.
status to.
We shouldn't be on the internet anymore. That much I know.
We shouldn't be. I'm
But
kind
here
of.
we are.
Hey,
Oh,
look.
Joel in the chat looking at 3 my top 8
butter us
right
up.
now.
Oh, what a babe.
He is. He's
It's
Joel,
working as
rank
well.
us. Rank us now, or the podcast stops.
That's unfair pressure to put on the man.
Yeah, I know, right? But look at me go. And that's why I'm number 1, because I keep testing him. I keep pushing him to his limits. You can join us on the old Twitch chat.
Get bullied by Jesse yourself.
AUS. Look, maybe.
Could happen.
That's an added bonus. If you're lucky, you get bullied by me.
Consider it a perk.
Joel said you can't make me. All right. I think we all know Joel. Wink. Wink, wink.
Kyran sat there with a pretty smug look on his face.
I'm number 1. It's fine. I know.
Yeah, that's fair. You've known him for like 1,000 years.
It's true. 1,000 years. All 1,000 of them.
Plot twist, he's actually his own number 1.
That's probably true,
Oh,
actually.
that's the spirit. That's what we
Yeah.
want. And that's what we want for you, dear listeners. We want you to be your own number 1. Okay, we're a positive podcast. We're going to change. We're not video games anymore. We're
With positive vibes.
just posy vibes. Just defend pop punk. Bring back the posy vibes. Let's do it. Well,
I'm
speaking
here
of
for it.
words that start with P that are tricky to say without getting plosives, Pokemon. We finally, well, I say finally, we get one of these new fucking things every year.
Yeah.
Pokemon Violet, I keep calling it Pokemon Violent. Pokemon Violent and Scarlet dropped last week. This is a weird year. We've got 2 mainline Pokemon games. We have Pokemon Legends Arceus in, February?
January, February?
Yeah, around that. Start of the
Yeah.
year. A real
Whatever.
departure from the mainline Pokemon games. Open worlds in the past. Catching was different. It was a very, very bold move, and I, for one, actually really enjoyed it. Didn't finish it.
That's
Definitely
the thing.
enjoyed it. I do have a good
Yeah.
friend who's put about 800 hours into it. Which, Nick, if you're listening, fucking deranged.
Yeah, dude.
So much time.
You're a brave soul.
Like, for comparison, that's nearly as much time as I put into Destiny 2 in its entire lifetime.
And Kyran's a sick individual.
I am a horribly broken human being.
Speaking about horribly broken, though, Scarlet and Violet came out, and we may as well, address the Don fan in the room.
Hey.
Good work.
Hey.
Good work.
Pokemon joke for you.
Oh.
Didn't even prepare that one beforehand. Let's go straight into it, because if you're in or on or whatever various social medias, if you're on the internet, if you're aware of the internet, you probably know and you've probably seen some of the glitches and bugs this game has. Because they are... Look, first up, they're pretty fucking funny, some of them.
Yes.
Some games break and they run shitty, but not in a funny way.
Hear me
This
out.
is breaking and shitty in a pretty funny way.
Hear me out. Do you know the first comparison I thought of? A Bethesda game.
I
Where
agree.
a bug happens in front of me and I'm like, that was fucking hilarious. It shouldn't have happened, but I'm laughing.
Yeah. I'm kind of hard pressed to disagree with you on that one.
The first bug I saw was what's her name? Nimona, who's like your friend. They don't really do rivals anymore. She points, and then
I
her
love
arm
her. She's
twists,
great.
and it keeps twisting, and then her body starts twisting, and then her head twists,
Yep,
and
I
it's
saw
full
that video on
Exorcist
Twitter.
bullshit. There's that. There's like you try to jump on top of your like vehicle dog thing, and your character becomes massive. There are characters slipping out of reality.
I watched
There are
a video
so
of
many.
someone like trying to fight with their Fuecoco near water's edge, and it
You
falls
want
into the water.
slips in?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
poor little boy.
I've had
God.
quite a lot. In fact, I actually managed to break the pathfinding for the 3 starters right in the very opening minute of the game.
Yeah, I broke it for one of them.
I broke it
One of
for
them
all
just went.
3 of them at once. And basically, I was walking around interacting with them, and I'm like, oh, this is really cute and nice. How cool. Oh, there's a shiny thing over there. I'm going to go walk over in that direction and pick it up. And as I'm walking, there's a fence. And then 1, 2, 3. Oh, right at the fence, just staring at it, running into it, face first, just fucking love fences. And I'm like, what the shit in Christ is going on? I pick up the thing and I think, maybe if I go back to the path, they will then fix themselves. No, I walked away and they were still running face first into this fence. It wasn't until I walked up to each one individually, interacted with them, walked away, brought them with me, and then circled back around, picked up the next one, and did the same thing for the third one, and then carried on. And I'm like, how have I broken the pathfinding so
They really wanted
quickly?
that defense boost.
Hey.
A lot of
That
Pokemon
entire
puns in it,
process
guys.
sounds annoying too, because obviously you can only walk there as well.
Yes.
And I was just like, let me run. I
Yeah,
want
I know.
to run.
Okay, let's rewind a second.
Okay.
I want to get your first impressions of the game when you first started it up, okay? Kyran, we first fired the game up. We've spoken about this game up, leading into it, and I think we all knew that there would be some changes happening because of Arceus, but not massive ones because it's only been, so many months. Obviously, they would have seen what's been developed with Arceus and they would have gone off that, but they wouldn't have had so much of the, I guess, the public opinion, which is quite positive for Arceus in the direction it went. So we kind of knew what we were in for here, but when you first fired up, Kyran, what do you think?
So it's so funny, right? Because my immediate thoughts when it plays that opening video kind of summarizes how I feel about the game, where I was like, I love a lot of what I'm seeing. And then I look at it, I'm like, some of that looks real rough, though. Like, you were zooming around this map, I'm like, you stop. You need to slow down.
It's funny you say that, because I got Scarlet. What did you guys get?
I've got Violet, but I did pick up Scarlet for my partner, so
I'm
I've got access
Violet.
to both.
So I got Scarlet, my partner got Violet. And when I spoke to her, I'm like, the opening cutscene really does sum up what this game is, because you fly around as your legendary. I just call it Bike Dog because I don't know what it's called.
How dare you? You have the red one. You haven't used your
Koraidon?
wheels.
Yeah,
Koraidon?
Koraidon.
Koraidon, what's the other one called?
Miraidon.
My
Get it?
ride on.
Ride-on. Get it?
My ride on.
You ride it. Interesting, Kyra. If that's what you call it, sure. You fly around Paldea, which is the new region. It's quite like a dynamic kind of action scene that you don't see in Pokemon games. It's cool, but then it zooms in on Bike Dog's face and it textures its shit out.
Yeah.
And then it just crashes into the beach, and there's
That was really weird.
It just happens and stops. And it's like, that's really jarring. So it tries to do something really, really cool, makes it look visually pretty interesting until you look for the finer details.
Yeah.
And then it just fucks up at one point.
And also, look, I know you're going to be like, oh, it's a Pokemon game. But why is there no voice acting? Like, there's cinematic cutscenes, directed proper
What are you
cutscenes.
talking about? I've been saying that from day one. I'm completely on board. There should be voice acting in all fucking Nintendo games. Grow up. Grow up, Nintendo. Game freak.
Well, they almost all do have voice acting now.
Yeah.
Honestly,
yeah.
a lot of them do.
I kind of wish Breath of the Wild didn't have English voice acting, but,
I wish I had better English voice acting.
Yeah.
I would settle
That's not
for
fair.
that
Better
whole...
English voice acting, like, direction, because the voice actors are probably fine and nice.
I would settle for the
Probably-
Monster Hunter thing of just like a little bit of voice acting. And it's like, oh, I wouldn't go in there. We have to do it together.
No, right. The Monster Hunter voice
You killed my
acting
dog!
is an absolute cancer among everything in the world. And frankly, the English voice acting for Monster Hunter Rise should never have
Another
been thought
balanced and reasonable opinion from Simon
of.
Evans.
Especially the fucking... I hope you've got insurance. In this universe, what the fuck is insurance? Who's an insurer?
Oh
Who
my
are you
god!
paying money to?
I'm sorry,
Pokemon, back to
Simon.
Pokemon.
Hold the fuck up, Simon. If you're gonna be overthinking lines like that in Monster Hunter, you fucked up.
I'm just saying, all right? It's like completely
They would have. Why would
immersion
they not have
shattering.
insurance? If you're in a world full of monsters, why wouldn't you have insurance?
Why would you have insurance? Who's going
Because
to want
it's
to
fucking
insure you?
monsters.
Who's going to want to insure that? They're going to be like, nah, fuck it, mate. If a Rathalos comes and burns down your house, you're on your fucking own.
I agree, Simon. Those games you love are shit because they don't have the expansive lore and universe. They should really
do,
flush-
but nowhere is it mentioned.
So
You
I'm
know
hearing-
what? Insurance brokers. That's what the fucking Monster Hunter universe needs. Insurance brokers,
It
right?
doesn't need to be
The
in
next
there,
spin-off
but
will be
the
a Monster
idea
Hunter
of them should be
insurance
in there.
game.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to that spin-off.
It's Monster Hunter World and everything that world includes, which is also insurance. Okay.
You remind me of my favorite NPCs in Pokemon already. We'll talk about later.
But going back
The
to
insurance
Pokemon,
guys.
Yeah, the insurance people. But going back
office
to
people.
Pokemon. Oh, they're
Oh
funny.
my god, I hate them so much.
I ran into one who was standing in a desert. I'm like, what are you doing, mate? Like, you're nowhere near an office.
I ran into one, and his line when he started the battle was, "No, I don't want to do my job." And I took a screenshot because I'm like, yeah, that's fucking relatable. Jesus.
Just with that, I love how some of these trainers that you meet out in the public, out in the world,
Well,
they talk such a big thing. It's like, hey kid, I'm gonna fucking kill you, and they throw out a tadpole.
yeah.
It's like, you didn't think this through, did you? I came here on a bike, dog.
Yeah.
Have you seen this dragon with a fucking wheel in it? I'm
That's
gonna kill
mine.
you.
And you know what? I just ride that. I don't even use it to fight. I don't need to.
Yeah.
It's not even in my fucking party. I use legendaries like this for transport, okay?
Yeah. Like, in that, when I first found my first trainer battle, I was waiting for my annoyance, because that first area, they're like, hey, go catch some Pokemon. I had a full party and within 5 minutes, and I find my first trainer. He's like, I've won Pokemon. I'm like, what are you doing, mate? Get out of here. Go.
But then, and then also when you like reach the lighthouse and Nemona's like, oh, how many Pokemon have you caught? And then she gets interrupted.
Yeah.
I'm like, fair point. That was pretty funny.
I like, what's the guy who lives at the lighthouse?
I forget his name.
Whatever his
Yeah.
name is, who actually has grown to become one of my favorite characters in the game. I
Yeah,
really
yeah,
like him.
I like him.
When his story starts to flesh out a little bit,
Yeah.
like, oh, buddy.
Yeah, that was a point. I was a bit teary-eyed, and I'm like, oh.
But he comes out and he's gone full like Malfoy on you. Like he's just being a fucking twat.
He was having a bad day. I will give him that.
Mate, I was having a bad. You were having a bad day. These 3 pets this doctor said was going to give you for the day are running into a fence.
Yeah, they're just like,
You had a bad day.
And then you still have to pick one of them.
Hey.
Well, okay. Speaking of, let's
Yeah.
go through team by team. I'll start first. I think we all have our switches on hand. I want to know who's in your team, and what you've named them as well. Now I've just realized I'm stuck in a cutscene. So Simon, you can go first.
shit, I've got Pokemon trying to learn moves.
Kyran, you can go
Kyran.
first.
All right. Okay. I guess I'll go first.
These games are action packed. You can't pause at a good moment. You know what I mean?
So I've got my my Quaxwell, which is the evolved version of my starter, who I named Jojo because of his sweet.
I'm on board with that. I'm on board with that.
I've got this one's not going to stick in my party for much longer, but I've got a Fletchinder, who I named Fletch because it just was easy.
Yep, fair.
The John
I've
Hamm
got-
version, yes.
I've got a Pormo, who evolved from a Porme, who as soon as I saw him, I was like, I know exactly what you are for this game. So I called him Mockachu because he's a Mock Pikachu.
I like it.
Then I've got my Spidops, whose nickname doesn't make any sense anymore because originally he was like a little spider with the web.
Yeah,
So I called him-
got one.
I called him Yanni, but now he looks much more intimidating, so I might need to revisit that nickname.
I have one of those and I called it Chip.
See,
And the reason I named it Chip is because in Talladega Nights, there is a line where I'm pretty sure the grandfather's name's Chip. I may be misremembering that, but I didn't care. And Will Ferrell's character's like, you hear that? He's going to come at you like a spider monkey. And I just always associated spider monkeys with the
good.
name
see,
Chip.
I caught one and evolved it as well and called it Gwen after the Spider-Man character.
Oh, yeah.
Because I caught a female one. I was like, yeah, cool, Gwen. And then it evolved into Spidops, and I'm like, that doesn't work quite as well anymore, but oh well.
I've got a Pokemon that I haven't nicknamed because I just caught him before the show, which is Dreepy, and I'm going to think of a good nickname for him because I fucking love that Pokemon. And then I've got my favorite new Pokemon, who is Dashbun, and his name is Breagle because he's a bread. So I was like, bread, Beagle, let's
Fred
go.
Beagle.
That's amazing.
That
That's
should have been
such
the
a
actual
good name.
Pokemon's name.
I don't know. Dashbun and Fido are amazing.
Fido
names.
is a pretty good name.
Like when he evolved, I'm like, I nearly want to just change your name back to your Pokemon name because I love it and I love you and you're the only Pokemon I need in my life anymore.
All right, my Pokemon have finished trying to learn moves. So I picked our favorite little apple crocodile, Fuecoco.
Yay!
I'm normally a grass starter guy. But
I'm surprised. Yeah, because I
I
associate with
saw what the final evolution for Sprigatito was and went, no.
See,
I've
I
avoided so many designs.
looked at
Sorry.
all the starter evolutions, and my opinion after I saw all three of them was just like, I'm fucked either way I go. So, duck.
damn it.
Duck.
Duck.
So yeah, I decided to nickname my Fuecoco Irwin after Steve Irwin because Crocodile Hunter. I was like, yeah. And then also I realized that it's also kind of a bit bad, and I'm going to apologize in advance because it evolves into a fire and ghost type.
What? It's been 10 years. It's fine.
Whoops. Sorry.
Careful,
Just
maybe I don't think there's any stingray Pokemon, so it should be okay.
don't find any manta Pokemon.
Yeah, let's avoid Mantine. I've got the evolved form of Paldea and Wooper, who I nicknamed Pooper because
There
it
you
looks,
go.
Because it looks like a pooper.
Well
That's
done.
the
looks
one.
So
Now,
yeah.
also, one of the most adorable Pokemon I've ever seen. I love it. I've seen multiple
it
people
so much.
on social media being like, look, the game's buggy as fuck, but I completely forgive it because of his smile. And it just
Yeah.
has a little
He's
smile.
such a gorgeous little goofball.
I've always loved Wooper, so I like, Paldea and Wooper's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. 10 out of 10 Pokemon design here. I've got the Tynamo, so it's a Gen 5 electric eel Pokemon, just called Tiny. It's going to evolve eventually into a massive fucking eel Pokemon, so that's going to be fun. I caught a Wiglet and then evolved it into a Wug Trio, which, Jesus Christ. That's currently called Jeff, because Wiggles. Jeff.
Hey, that's
Wiglet.
wholesome.
Yeah.
Better than
More
my
awesome
name
than the
for it.
design of that Pokemon, that's for sure.
Definitely better than my name for it. Tell you that much.
Look, I am thinking about swapping it out because it's such a glass cannon and cannot take a single hit. And I never have, like, it's a fast, hard-hitting Pokemon, but I never have it at the front of my party, and I always switch it in, and it's never worth it. So I'm thinking about swapping it out for another water type, but I need to find another new water type to swap it in with. The Smoliv that I caught, I called Olivia, and that has recently evolved.
I want to get one of them, call it Martoni.
Ah, that's a good one.
Yeah, is it?
I like that. It's not clever at all, but
Yay.
and then I caught a Sandile, which has evolved into a Crocorock called Javier.
Javier.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? It's a
All right.
Spanish name. I'll go with Javier.
Welcome to my team. Not my team, actually. My character's name's Butt Lad. Because my character's been named Butt Lad since you could name your fucking character in these games, okay? And I'm nothing but consistent. I got a Crocolaw named Ricky. If you don't know why his name's Ricky, it's short for Ricardo. I've got a Wiglet, which I've called Sperm Worm. Shocked the game will allow me to name it, but my little jizzy boy. I have I was very. There are a lot more shinies in this game. I'm finding. I caught
I haven't had any yet
a
either.
shiny Skiddo. Go-Goat is one of my all-time favorites. So getting a Skiddo, I'm actually really, really happy about it. I've never seen the shiny version of it. It's white. So I've called it Swizzy. So I'm just like, it's female, like white female Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Swizzy. Why not?
Tracks.
I got Clorf. It's Clorf, a big crab with hair. Which is one of my favorite new Pokemon. I've called it Crab Robert. I got Oinkaloni, which is the evolved form of
Don't you mean Oinkalone?
No, it'd be Oinkaloni, because
Wouldn't be like cologne.
Oinkalone. Oh, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
I just thought it was made of meat. But I called it Salami.
That's fair.
Right.
And then I recently got a Kilowattrel, which is like some electric bird, because I always like the bird Pokemon. I called it Sparkle.
Oh, cute.
But I have a very nice team. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Sticking on Pokemon itself, what are you guys thinking of the new designs?
I love them.
They've all been winners so far.
I think there's one that I don't like.
Oh, yeah.
And that is Flamigo, the flamingo Pokemon. That is just a fucking flamingo, and its name is just one letter removed from flamingo.
Yeah, okay. Look,
how many Pokemon adjust the animal though? Like all the fish Pokemon are just fish. Magic. What?
But at least
what
there's
is the
variety.
gold? What were they thinking when they made Sea King and Gold?
Look,
Like,
don't get me wrong.
Come on.
I will never, ever, ever
Give us
say
some arms.
that. No, that's how we ended up with Geodude, which is just a rock with arms. All right.
How dare you?
There have
How dare you
been
talk shit about
bad.
Geodude. I'll fight you again.
There have been lazy designs in every single generation, from generation 1 all the way through till now. That is never changed.
Is it Clink? Is it
Clink and Clank?
Yeah,
Clink?
Clink Clang and
Clink Clang.
And then
Yeah.
don't forget the key ring Pokemon.
The keys. Yeah.
Clef Key. Yeah, that exists.
And was it
Like
Sun
I
and
said-
Moon had like the what was it? I forget. Sun and Moon had one as well that made me mad.
Also, Kyran,
Yeah.
you'll like this real quickly. My partner and I were discussing what obviously this one's based on like Spain.
I think it's Spain.
Yeah.
We were saying the next one, if they ever do Australia, it'd be really cool. They did like a kind of a hybrid. It was Australia and New Zealand.
Hell yeah.
So
That would
one
be
game they
cool.
released was ice for New Zealand, and the other one was fire for Australia. And it'd be really cool. They did a Klefki variant for New Zealand, where the ring itself is the ring.
That'd be cool.
That would be
Yeah.
Putting it out there.
That'd be awesome.
We do have a koala Pokemon already, so like
Yeah, but they brought it in Alola or what?
Yeah, in
what
Alola.
are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, that was a weird one.
Sorry,
but-
Simon. Yeah.
No, you're fine. But that's the thing. Like, that's my point. Is like, there's always been lazy designs in every generation of Pokemon. Going back to Generation 1, anyone who says otherwise is lying. Like, they're straight up lying. There are bad Pokemon designs every single generation. This is no exception. However, overwhelmingly, there are some fucking phenomenal designs. They have smashed this out of the park. This
Really
is
original,
so good.
really different. Like, and even the ones that shouldn't work, like that little like car engine that's been chasing you around. It's like you're adorable. They made it. They made a really dumb idea really cute.
And that the chest one as well. I forget his name.
Gimme Ghoul,
Gimme Ghoul,
Ghoul,
Gabagoo.
Gabagool.
Gabagoo. I love him. He's great. Although I do hate how he makes a noise, and sometimes when you're in the middle of a battle, you can just hear him making the noise over and over and over again.
Oh, look, there are
and I'm
worse
like,
happening
as
during
soon
battles.
as I'm done with this fight, I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna steal your money.
I've had people just walk through fights. Just in the middle, just walk through. Or like a Taurus will see me and just charge at me. I'm like,
that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
That's my favorite fight moment that happened just before
working
today.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm like, mate, I'm in a battle. Taurus like, I don't give a shit, dude.
I recorded that. I've taken so many screenshots. I think this is the most amount of screenshots in the videos I've taken since I was like launch day, where I was playing Breath of the Wild and I was taking screenshots of everything because I was like, oh my god, this looks amazing. Versus now, where I'm like, oh my god, look at this dumb shit that's happening right now. This is ridiculous. And I've got a compilation of just weird shit that's happened to me. Brilliant.
So I think in that sense, we've all been relatively lucky that our bugs that we've run into have been more on the Bethesda funny side
Yeah.
Yeah.
than the EA broken side. But well, I've definitely seen people online having hard crashes, and look, the game should not have shipped as it is.
No.
It's a real shame because behind the glitches, I think this is the best Pokemon game I've ever played. And is very close to the Pokemon game I've been talking about wanting for a long time. But with the glitches, I think I just want to put something out there. I think you guys agree to an extent with this. I've seen a lot of people saying this is the worst looking Pokemon game because of the glitches and bugs and graphical inconsistencies. The technical inconsistencies. Sure. Performance-wise, sure. But looks-wise, okay. Ground, just normal world textures, garbage.
Shocking.
As they always have been. Building textures, garbage. And you also can't go into many buildings, which is a bit weird.
That is one of my biggest complaints
But-
is that, and I'll go into more detail a bit later.
The Pokemon themselves and the characters, you can see stitching on fabric. You can see Magnemite shines. It's
Your hair
It's
moves
jarring
in
at
the
first.
wind and stuff. Like,
there are so many little touches here that I was like, it's such a shame that this isn't running properly because it looks really good. And the background stuff, like the textures for the world, I don't really give a shit about, to be honest, because they've actually made areas look interesting. I just got to like a jungle area, and it's the most lush thing I've seen in the Pokemon game, and I'm really excited to explore this area. I'm not the biggest fan of Pokemon games. I buy them every year because I'm a slave to capitalism. And because I'm a Pokemon simp. And I find them, just dumb fun, but I rarely finish them, or if I finish them, I'm excessively angry with how they finish, a Sword and Shield. But for the first time, I'm genuinely excited to explore areas, and the open world they made, the map is massive, and I feel like there's proper diversity within the world. Like I visited a desert, I visited forests, I've gone to the beach. There's like a whole mine you can go into. You expect to see like a fucking Gina fucking Reinhardt Pokemon somewhere. She's one of the Titans. Fuck, I'd have to be nice to her. But it's fun to explore in a Pokemon game, which I just haven't felt. And there's like a freedom to it.
I've come across a few things. So I have a lot of complaints about this game that aren't all performance or graphical based. Like I think the gyms are such a letdown because it's going.
Let's get into
gyms.
Yes, I agree. Let's get into the different paths in a moment.
Yeah. The gyms, it's such a wash of an experience. It's just like,
What do you mean? What do you mean you don't want to get 10 Sunfloras?
I don't mind getting 10 Sunfloras.
Sorry.
I do mind getting 10 Sunfloras that run at 4 frames a second.
Oh boy, they look so bad.
Fucking levitates halfway through, and then one of them drowned itself in front of me.
I had to hold my Switch down. I had to hold my Switch to prevent the fan making it fly away. It sounded like a fucking PS4.
I watched one of the Sunfloras like clip into the hedge maze like grass.
Yeah.
I'm like, why?
And a Sunflora is already a creepy looking Pokemon. Seeing it run like it's the fucking chick from The Grudge.
God. This was true horror.
Yeah, like Jesus. I don't like the fact that you can't go into the majority of buildings, and the ones that you can go into are copy paste.
Yes.
All the shops are just menus now. I don't like that. I do appreciate some of the quality of life stuff being like, you can remember moves that your Pokemon have learned or forgotten at any point.
Wait,
any
what?
point. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just need to bring them into your party and go into their moves, and then you go remember move.
And it gets better. That also includes, if you teach a Pokemon a move with a TM, that move then goes permanently into its move pool.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
right?
There's a lot of really good quality of life stuff.
Auto battling.
Auto battling, I find kind of hit and miss.
I feel like a monster most of the time. I'm like, hey, exterminate everything. Cleanse the land.
I think like the aiming for like trying to target Pokemon is just awful. Like that just doesn't work 50% of the time for me. I know. I think caves. There's no caves. There's no dungeons. There's
tunnels.
Yeah, it's a tunnel. It's a straight fucking tunnel. However, with that being said, one of my current high points is before I'd even done a single gym. I was like, I wonder how far I can go until the game's going to block me from going somewhere. Because I knew it was going to happen. And I was like, I wonder how I'm going to be blocked. And I went into this cave where I couldn't progress any further. But my highest Pokemon was like level 15 or something. And I found a level 38 Bagon. I was like, I'm going to try catch this. Fuck it. And I caught it. I only lost 2 Pokemon. Managed to catch it. And I was like, shit, this is really cool. And I couldn't climb any further. I couldn't go anywhere else because the cave had climbable walls. So I'm like, okay, well, it's clear that I have to come back here at some point or another with the ability to climb a wall. That's cool. That's a lot better than having some NPC stand in the way and go, no,
it's
you're
logical.
Not allowed. Exactly. It makes sense. It feels natural. It feels like the progression is built into the game world in a way that works. And I like that. I really like that. And I've still got this bag on in my box because I still haven't got enough gym badges to.
So that's
use
one.
it.
That's a sticking point for me.
That's one thing I don't like.
It's small, but like they try to sell up this like you can go wherever you want and do whatever order you want, except for gym badges are like, yeah, but if you want Pokemon over 25, better get this badge.
It would have been good if, like in the original anime with Ash and his Charizard, you could use it, but it wouldn't always listen.
Well, that's what you can do.
You can do it.
But the way it's worked in previous Pokemon games is based off of whether or not you are the original trainer. If you are the person that caught that Pokemon, it will listen to you regardless. Doesn't matter. If it's a traded Pokemon, so if I finish the game and Jesse, you've started a new game and I trade it to you, then it's not going to listen because you're not the original trainer.
Because it doesn't even matter. Because if you give someone a level 100 Pokemon, even if it only listens like 25% of the time, when it listens, the opponent's done.
Yeah, exactly. And it can just sit there and soak hits for fucking ages anyway and stuff like that. I think Team Star, their bases are really disappointing as well.
We'll get into that. Fuck it, let's just get into that now. Okay.
Sure.
So, one of my biggest complaints of Pokemon games is that everyone follows the same path when you play them. You go to gym, you do the same shit. It's linear as hell. With this one, they give you 3 quests, and they're quite fleshed out. So one of them is to fight this Team Star, like go to their bases and deal with them. You are enrolled at some school, which, look, I don't love that you're playing as some entitled little rich fuck going to this really prestigious school. I reckon that's a bit odd. Whatever. Biggest school you've ever seen, and I'll get into the school shit in a moment. But you can follow the school's like treasure thingy and whatever it is. Do the gyms, as we all know and love the gyms to an extent.
Love the gyms.
And the one that I really like is finding Titan Pokemon. So there are like myths and legends across Paldea of these giant Pokemon, which you can go find. You can battle. And they're actually a really reward. I'm chasing down that storyline most so far. And I'm finding the story NPC, very, very rewarding so far.
The NPC really nice. Involved with that story is like I didn't like him at first. I was like, nah, fuck this guy. Like he's an ass. But his story is very relatable. And like not to give too much away, but it deals with a pretty heavy topic in a very natural way.
For anyone who knows me and heard what I spoke about when we did some minor Ragnarok spoilers last week, you know that it hit me in the exact same fucking way. God damn it.
Yeah.
Game Freak, you sons of bitches.
But it's good because this character feels like a legitimate person. And I'm like, I want to help this guy because if I was in his position, I'd be doing the exact goddamn same thing.
I've never felt this in a Pokemon game. When people say, "Oh, remember this story beat in a Pokemon game," I say, "No, of course I don't. I've never paid a single iota of."
Just because you're an ADHD riddled fuck, all right, doesn't mean that haven't been meaningful moments.
They're not good stories. They're
From
not
one
good stories.
ADHD riddled fuck to another.
That's the thing. They're not good stories, though.
I disagree on 2 cases.
Yeah, you can disagree as much as you want, but you're wrong.
They're literally just Gen 5 games. Black and White and Black 2 White 2.
I see. The thing is, like, top of my head, I can't tell you a single beat from them at all.
Okay.
Because I don't find the characters interesting.
What was that, sorry?
Are they the ones with their character N? Am I thinking?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
is
he the big man?
I want to say underrated, but I feel like they're not.
Which is the one with the big dude who wants the flower Pokemon?
That's Gen 6. That's X and Y.
That was stupid. Why was he big?
That was.
Why did nobody tell me why he's big?
Don't forget about Sun and Moon with all those
He's
stupid
12
like
foot
Ultra
tall.
Beasts.
Why is he big? Ultra Beast.
I don't know.
Whatever. I remember I showed Keelan.
No, I agree.
A picture of Buzzswole. And he evaporated. That's why he hasn't been in the show for a while. He's recovering at the moment, okay? That poor man, he was having fits. But
understandable.
I'm relating to these characters like the school principal is a bit boring, but I think his story is about to get a little bit interesting from what I'm up to.
Yeah,
I really like Nimona. I used to think the whole rival thing got really boring, and then when it became overtly friendly, it became a bit boring. She just seems like
She's
cool person.
here, she's here for a good time. Also, I've seen a lot of people on social media saying, like, drawing a lot of ADHD comparisons from her and as a character, and being like, "Oh, it's great because she's very clearly ADHD or whatever, with her obsession of battling and wanting to challenge you specifically and stuff like that." And I don't know, I really like her. I feel like she's wholesome but not annoying, and that's a very important distinction.
And that is a line that they rarely get right in Pokemon games.
100%.
My word, that little. Look, if you can say ADHD, I can say this. That little fat fuck for one of the Pokemon games. That little round boy, I can say that as a fat fuck myself, okay? He was one of the most annoying characters I've ever seen in the game. Anyway, let's not get bogged down in that. God damn son of a bitch.
Sounds like you already are bogged down in that.
Look, I'm going to throw him into a bog, okay?
Would he be able to swim out? Probably not.
Child. I think it was the one that was... it was Sword and Shield. Hey, you had like that little group of friends. Anyway.
No, X and Y.
That was X and Y.
God,
X and Y, yeah.
It's back. Yeah, I'm finding the characters relatable. However, I do have one big issue that's bogging down my enjoyment of the story. The fucking walls and walls of dialogue. If your game is going to make me read, if you're not going to have voiceover work, don't draw attention to it. What I find these games do is pointless dialogue. Something will happen and it doesn't progress the scene at all. Here's one point. At the start of the game, you go to the school. And you have to read War and Peace before you leave. And there's one point where you're talking to the principal, and he's like, "Oh, I have a friend for you to speak to." And then it cuts back to you, and it takes a second, and then you look around, and you look back at him, and he looks at you, and then you look back at him, and he says, "Oh, they're not here." Looks back at you, you look around, you look back at him, they're on the TV. Look at the TV. It's like, just fucking say they're there. It literally, I had to click through like 6 different, scenes. Just skip it.
Yeah.
They really need in these games, like, okay, look, I would love a Pokemon game made for an older audience, but at the end of the day, they are kids' games. However, I wish they were more aimed at like a young teenager rather than somebody who's under 10. Which, look, fair enough. I love the fact that, young kids are getting into Pokemon. That's fantastic. There really needs to be an option at the start where you can say, "This is my first Pokemon game. I'm new to the Pokemon games. I've been playing them all my whole life," and just skip through the bullshit.
You could have heard the sound I made when I forget her name. It was just like, "Do you want me to? I'll teach you how to catch Pokemon." I'm like, "Don't
I'll fucking teach you."
Dare. Don't you? I don't. And then she did it, and I'm like, oh my god, it's happening again. It's happening again.
I would love a Pokemon game with not so much difficulty, because I think that introduces a bunch of different issues, but just skip the hand holding. Simon, the reason I say maybe not the difficulty, I really like what they've done here. There are areas with lower level Pokemon, higher level Pokemon. You can kind of go wherever you want. I think if they got rid of the whole gym badge dynamic, making you can only control certain Pokemon at certain levels, having that scale with a difficulty that'd be kind of pointless. Just get rid of the hand holding. This game holds your hand for the first hour and a half.
That's significantly better than Sun and Moon.
It
like,
really is.
Holy
It really is.
shit. Sun and Moon were awful.
I vaguely remember that.
And this is the thing that I want to bring up probably the most, is this is so much of a step in the right direction. It's almost slightly more infuriating. Because I'm like, I love this. I love this. I really like this. This is cool. This works really well. Why wasn't this 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Like,
what it feels like? Because, yeah, I agree. This is a step forward. A bigger step forward than I expected, to be honest.
Absolutely.
In a very,
wholeheartedly agree.
very, very positive direction. I was saying, talking to Simon pre-show, this is the most excited I've been for the Pokemon franchise ever. I'm really looking forward to the future. But I feel like Game Freak have realized what they are capable of doing. and
disagree
they've
on
gone
that.
to run and they've tripped, but they've realized that they can run. Okay, so this is messy.
And here's the follow-up problem as well. For all the complaints this game is getting, the real person who makes the calls, which is like the Pokemon company and creatures and whatever, they're not going to care because they're going to sell like their 20 million units.
Because, yeah, as always, they always sell well, and that's arguably one of the more frustrating things. But
it absolutely is.
And all of the issues that I have with this game, which again, there's a lot, and a lot of that is performance-based and stuff like that, but it's not the whole pie. I'm having so much damn fun with this. And it almost makes it a little bit more infuriating because I'm like, I bought this because I got slightly peer pressured into it. My two best mates were like, yeah, we're going to buy it. And then my partner was like, oh, I'm thinking about buying it. And I'm like, well, then I might as well get it and we'll get like the double pack and all the rest of it. And I bought it, came home, started playing it. And I was like, all right, here we go. Like, I'm ready for this bullshit again. And I'm genuinely enjoying myself.
It made me very happy when you tweeted you were enjoying this.
Yeah, the moment-to-moment gameplay is fun. I'm having fun battling every Pokemon. I'm having fun, like, I'm catching basically every Pokemon I see that isn't, like, an evolved form of one I already have.
How good is it not having random encounters anymore?
And that's the other thing.
It's like just like seeing a Pokemon in the world. I know Arceus did it, but the way this one does it, it's like they act so much more
realistic. Like, there are herds of Taurai roaming around. And you know what I love seeing? When you see a group of Pokemon running around and their evolved form is there as well, like
in the
looking
middle.
after them.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
And like, there's just so much about it that I really love. And, you know, I mentioned that cave earlier. I went into that cave because I snuck around like level 35 Medicham. And I'm like, oh, gotta be careful. Gotta sneak around this guy. And then I found that bag on and caught it. I felt really good about myself trying to get out of that cave with two injured Pokemon. One that was basically almost dead as well. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta be real careful on my way out here. But I could avoid that. And that felt really cool. And like, it paid off. Even though I still haven't used the Pokemon that I caught, it feels good. Like, it felt like a fun moment. Like, early on, I caught that Pokemon. Also, I've done things out of order. I did the second gym, the intended second gym first. Then I did the first gym. No, that's meant to be the third.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I did the grass gym second. Then the bug gym. Then I went and did the first Titan. Then I did the fire team for Team Flare. Team Star, which is meant to be the second one. And I almost got my ass handed to me against that fucking car. Because I was under-leveled. And I loved it. I item cheesed it. I just, like, kept sending out my evolved Wooper and spamming revives and healing stuff, and then, like, sending out another Pokemon and getting in a hit, letting them faint, sending Wooper back out. And I kept doing that. And that's how I managed to beat it in the end. But, like, I had fun with that. Like, I got punished slightly for being cheeky, and I liked that because that's what it should feel like. And it's like, oh, there we go. There's consequences to my actions now.
Exactly. Like, this is the first Pokemon game that's challenged me because I've pushed it. Pokemon game has never in any way pushed back. You always get there's always like one battle in every Pokemon game that's tricky. I remember that one. I can't remember. It could have been Black and White, maybe, with a Hawlucha.
I think that was
whichever one that was. I remember that.
I think that was X and Y again.
That fight kicked my ass time and time
that one
again.
Hawlucha in the cave.
God,
just
absolutely murdered me.
I always think of Whitney in a Miltank in Gold and
Silver.
Exactly. But that's a prime example.
I feel like this game doesn't have that because it's like no. Like the game that was saying like bring it on. Like try and pull the bullshit that you've always wanted to try and do.
Yeah.
And like Simon, you and I have done the same thing. We're just like it's a Pokemon game. I'm just gonna run to the end. Let's see what happens.
I was like, sure, like, whatever.
We've learned our lesson. We'll back off.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And then I went and found the intended first Team Star base, and I steamrolled it. But I was like, cool, that's fine. That is the consequence of my action. That isn't because I'm over-leveled.
Don't spoil it too much here. But are the bases basically go in there? Are they gyms? You fight a bunch of people and then you fight a leader?
Sort of, in a way. You use the auto battle mechanic a lot.
Ooh, I love it. I love the auto battle.
I love auto battle.
One of my most frustrating things about Pokemon games is when you have your squad. You know, they're all relatively strong. They're all over level 50. and you're sort of in the end game phasing, and you run into a Bellsprout. Like, why am I wasting my time? Because it does take time to like load up, and at that point you've done it a billion times. Loads up, and you can either run or and if you don't want to run, because like what's the point? But then you fucking hyper beam it. It's like, what have I done? What have I done? You feel bad. But this week you just like, whatever, go away.
Yeah. And I think that, like, I don't know, I'm kind of hit and miss on the auto battle, because I feel like there are a few times when I've sent out a Pokemon that should absolutely win in a fight, and it comes back immediately with half health, and I'm like, bruh, you could have won that. You're just being a little bitch.
Yeah, I find that, but I think what are you doing? I don't mind that aspect, because I would just sit there in the easy areas and wait, and just like cheese the game. I think it is just coin flips with those battles, because I found that I would have my Fuecoco go out, or Crocodile, or whatever it's called, go out, a bunch of just easy grass starters, and one of them will kick its ass. Like, okay, I have killed about 15 of your friends. So, fair enough.
Another one thing sort of split into two that I really appreciate.
Oh, like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet? We'll get to that.
No. Ditto and Zorora. Just keep an eye out for them. All right? Okay. I'm not going to spoil. I'm not going to say anything else.
Okay, interesting. You've piqued my interest.
Okay. I would recommend
don't say anything else. Don't say anything else.
No. Just sort of as a general aside, I would recommend trying to battle more or less every Pokemon that you come across.
I'm on to you. I'll fly
every species.
Hey, have fun at picnics.
I haven't done one.
How much do you want to eat these fucking sandwiches?
Now, here's the problem. Here's my one problem with picnics now. There's complications now, right? I was having my picnic.
What are the picnics?
Right, I sat down, made a ham sandwich, between some bread, and then proceeded to eat it in front of both my Lechonk and my Fido. I'm like,
oh no, that was their
baby, personal, guys.
Just a little bit to make your sandwich.
But that's the thing. Like, also just that animation. What the fuck?
Oh, we eat before you eat it? No, oh my god, it's so
okay.
good.
As soon as we're done here, I'm gonna do this.
The first time I bought a sandwich at the cafeteria, which is the world's smallest cafeteria ever, in like the first 40 odd minutes of the game, my character didn't even open their mouth to pretend to eat the sandwich. They just went.
We've all been there.
I don't think sandwich. I have. No. Have you seen it play out with coffee?
I saw you eat that biggest stringer. Okay, your mouth didn't move. You swallowed it like a duck.
You didn't pick Quaxley.
No, I did not. But still, it's just it's one of those things that I'm like, it's shit like that which detracts so much from what is otherwise a damn fun game. And I think the best way I can sum it up, which is what I said earlier, is it's a bad game when you, technically speaking, it's like it's held together by sperm snakes and pubic hair.
Oh,
and
Simon's not really known for his metaphors, but or be able to put a sentence together, to be honest.
One day. But it's a damn fun game.
Do I have to call the episode that?
I hope not.
I'm gonna redo that something really for Kate song, Cigarettes and Suitcases, to be called, what was it? Sperm snakes and pubic hair.
yeah,
what's
something
wrong with you, Simon?
What was it you called your wiglet before?
Spermworm.
Oh my god.
Spermworm, that's it. I couldn't think of
nothing about pubes, you sick.
Look, it's just in the general vicinity.
Kyran's team doesn't have any pubes because he's got Quaxley.
Hey, you leave my just awful duck boy alone.
You're my duck son.
I was nearly gonna, when I got my duck, I'm like, maybe I'll just keep you in first stage. Maybe I'll just do that.
maybe I'll just leave you there alone.
Just keep you as like, because what I do like about when you pick your starters, and I think they did this in Sword and Shield, is something they seem to be doing, is they sort of gave the starters little personalities of sorts. Like,
yeah,
I loved in the intro when Fuecoco was just like, had no idea what was going on. And I felt just Quaxley like judging him. I'm like, I like you. You're coming with me. You little blue duck. Let's go.
I do like since I've been doing that.
Yeah, I mostly agree. I think it works really well for the first tier, like for the first stage of the starters. I think it's really cool. Like, it's a great little introduction to all of them. I don't like it when they do it for the final stage and you end up with a football player, a drummer, and a sniper spy, because that's a little bit weird.
Yeah,
they've moved away from that.
When they get that
you didn't
sad
get
frog
the
and
emo
gun.
to clock tower pipeline in Sword and Shield?
Let's not even get into that, because it is a straight line.
They've moved away from that.
Can I ask you guys a question though?
Which
Because
is good.
like I said before, there's too much dialogue in this game, and because of that, I'm skipping out a lot of tutorial stuff. And again, because they're trying to teach me how to use a potion that I've used before, I skip out a lot of stuff. Is there like an auto heal feature now?
Yes.
There is, yeah.
What is it? How do I do it?
So again, in the menu, like when you open up, when you press X and it pulls up your team, basically hover over the Pokemon that you want and press the minus button on your Joy-Con or your Pro Controller or whatever, and that will auto heal. It has a specific order in which it will use items, potions being the first thing it uses.
Okay, cool.
So if you're missing 100 HP, it will use 5 potions rather than using one
hyper potion.
A hyper potion. Yeah.
Okay, I quite like that.
Yes, me
brought
too.
up, and I guess because there's so many little things in this game that I'm really enjoying, this is one thing that I haven't seen many people mention. Is the UI in this game really nice?
It's nice, but it's laggy.
Oh, it's laggy. Look, technical issues aside, it just looks good. I love myself some bright colors on grey with no borderlines.
I'm glad you brought up UI, because I want to bring up that this is, I mean, it's not hard because of how the older games, the constraints on them. This is how I want every Pokedex to look. I love this Pokedex so
that
much.
style with the books.
Yeah,
it looks so
good.
good. I'm here for that. Like, that's.
I would love if you went
design
back
choice.
to the professor's office, whatever, and you could see that shelf, and you could see the books.
That would be cool. I'd be down for that. And also, one UI complaint though. Not to be
you shut
super
your
negative.
mouth.
No, it's just that when you press X and change the order of your team, I don't like the fact you have to go over and then select move and then select again where you want to put them. I feel like you could have done that a bit quicker. Because one thing I do like is the fact that you can move over to, like, I don't know, let's say the 4th member of your team, press the Y button and it puts them in the first slot. Love that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's it's really cool. And I'm like, cool.
Another question
nice.
that you guys may know the answer to. What's the point in the classes?
None, as far as I know.
So again,
I've ignored them.
The main crux of this game, I guess, is
They seem sort of like tutorials in some
That's
senses.
what I think they are, yeah.
Are you telling me there's more tutorials?
What I mean is, like, one of the ones I did, the battling one, sort of was like, it gave you an idea of like type advantages.
I went out
like
and I fought an ancient stone god, okay, that's been terrorizing the village.
Yeah.
And then I get a message like, you have a science class today. What do you mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, oh, there's a new art design class available. I'm like, what? I don't want to do art design.
This is how Spider-Man felt when he's in messages like, oh, you have an exam due tomorrow. He's like, I just killed Thanos. What are you talking about? Go away.
Everyone is a math class. I did one math class, and the question I got asked wasn't even math related. They sort of remind me. Again, I don't think this is what they're going for, but it reminds me of just really lame, uninteresting versions of like the Persona class sequences,
that
which
was
I loved.
something. That's what I was kind of expecting with this whole school theme. I was like, oh, maybe it'll be kind of like Persona 5, where you've got to, you can go out into the world and you can explore stuff. But hey, be careful, because there are classes that you're going to have to go to, and maybe an exam or two that you might have to sit. Oh, cool. That would be fun, trying to sort of balance that a little bit. But no, it's like, oh, like, do you want to go to school?
When you talk,
okay.
When you talk to some of the NPCs, it does mention that you get closer to them, and I'm like, what is this? Like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah. And also, some of the students, some of the character models for the students are some of the funniest shit I've ever seen. because
Yeah, some of the designs.
there's a lot of students that are not students. They are just
know.
grown ass men.
But I
You're,
kind of-
you're an
that-
adult.
That's what I kind of like
They're-
about this. Because
Name's
like
Jeff. What are you doing?
this is a world where like there are like toddlers standing on the side of a road, and you beat them and you take their money. Like it's the world of Pokemon, baby.
I know, but I love it because it's so silly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I love.
at the
You go
same
to like a
time,
little
it's
child
not.
and you throw out Cloth, and Cloth is the size of a fucking Range Rover.
And this kid's just got no hope. And then you beat him and you take his money and you're like, cheers, kid.
Yeah,
And he's like, all right.
I do want to go
As a
back to a
tribute.
point that we brought up before. We didn't actually get into that much. Is the gym battles? So the gym battles themselves,
God.
they work as normal gym battles. You fight the gym leader, you win. What are your badge? Okay,
Yeah.
sweet. That's whatever. That is what it is. But
So late in this game,
beforehand,
though. So
like
bad.
we were talking about the
So
Sunflowers before, when you get to a gym, you have to do a little pre-gym
Alan
challenge, I guess.
context.
But it is literally, they are literally just waste of time. They are super simple. It is, hey, go around the town and find 10 of this. Go look at this camera footage and find this person.
Push this giant olive.
There may be a few battles
Yeah.
in between,
Fuck, that was
but they feel like fucking straight to video WarioWare games. Like they're nothing.
This is
That's
the second
an
time I've
insult
done
to
this as well.
WarioWare.
Because they did this in Sun and Moon, didn't they?
Well, Sun and
Similar
Moon
to.
sort of.
If they did, I
yeah.
blocked it out mentally.
Kind
But
of.
it might
It
have
was
been
weird.
Sun and Moon. For some, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just Sun and Moon's. They were better, but yeah, I haven't been liking them so much in this. I would prefer to just go into the gym, fight a couple of trainers, actually see the gym,
Yes, exactly. Like
because I miss that. I miss that so much because I really like the gym.
All the gyms
I
are just
understand that
basic buildings now.
yeah, but that's going back to the point that I made, which is like the interiors that we do get all really suck. They're all copy paste. They're all very bland.
yeah.
And like I that was one of my favorite things was like, don't get me wrong, the gyms were never all that challenging. Like the puzzles in them were super fucking basic every time, no, without a shadow of a doubt. But I liked it because I could go in, get an
broke it
idea
up.
of what the theme was. Exactly. It breaks it up a little bit and you go, I could do the challenge or I could fight this trainer for a bunch of experience. And that sounds pretty good because I need to level up a little bit before I take on this gym again.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll do that. I think Sword and Shield, although I didn't love the gyms, I loved the theming of the way they handled gyms, which was, yeah, you've got to go get 10 Sunflower, but trainers are going to get in your way.
Yeah.
So you need to fight trainers to complete your mission.
Because again,
Cool.
you're
I like that.
you're trying to fight for a gym badge. Like
Yeah.
it just feels weird to do like some random task and then be like, okay, you can fight the gym leader now. It's like, really?
I wish the little
pretty
challenges
arbitrary.
had were more of a means to an end. So maybe the first gym you go to, as the game wants you to, you get to catch these 10 sunflowers. Wouldn't it be better if there was one sunflower and every time you go up to it, you go to catch it, it like runs off, scurries off, but it makes you explore the city? Or it makes you go to an area and maybe you get to a point where the sunflower is about tries to run away and there's a bigger Pokemon there that you have to fight. Like, rather than just there's no challenge to it. Now, it's a bit of a weird step, and I think when you guys were just discussing it, I've realized I liked the gym puzzles, like, when you step on like the little platform, they spin you around and shit like that. I used to like that because it was something different. Because the old Pokemon games was the same thing, time after, you were just doing the same thing over and over and over again. This one's a little bit different because there is so much variety in what you can do, which is this game, for me, its biggest strength. I have multiple things I could do right now, which I've never felt in a Pokemon game.
Yeah.
And you're wasting, I feel like they're wasting my time. It's like, no. Hey, look, if you want to make simple gym battles and I go in there, fight 3 people and then the gym leader, so be it. Cool. That's fine.
That's fine. I'm
But
happy
then
with that.
I'm bailing because I'm going to do something else, okay? Don't make me do these other things unless they are a means to an end and they're actually going to benefit me. And I think the best way to do that is to make them more explore. Like, you have to actually explore an area. So if they're like, hey, to challenge this gym leader, you need to go find this berry in this forest, and then you go to the forest, and there's a bunch of creatures you find, and there could be a bit of a storyline there, yada yada yada. You find it, you go back, you battle the gym. That would make sense to me. It's a side quest before a main mission.
Yeah.
Rather than
and you've got this big open world.
game. Yeah, use it.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I think part of the Game Freak design and thinking behind this is super for them, I guess, for Pokemon games. quite progressive, but they are still held back by a lot of the old world thinking, which I'm glad that people are calling out the graphical issues for one. So hopefully they fix this up. And I think to do that, the next game should just be one game. Don't make these dual things anymore. I think it's predatory as hell. I'm not even going to get into it.
It's not going to happen.
I know.
It's not going to happen.
No.
But I really hope that they keep this kind of like daring approach, I guess. Like, they broke the mold on this one. And
the thing is,
like, people are calling out and enjoying it.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, this is the most fun I've had with a Pokemon game in ages. But I think that this actually highlights the problem with having Game Freak as the developer, because this is the potential that Pokemon has had for forever. This has been what Pokemon has always been capable of. And this is what people have wanted for such a long time. And Game Freak are 10, 15 years behind the times here. And I feel like if it wasn't Game Freak developing them, if it was a slightly better developer, then we could have the Pokemon games that I feel like we deserve to have. The franchise deserves to be making. It's the largest grossing media franchise in the entire world.
But that's the reason.
And yet they still can't produce a game that looks better than something that came out on the Wii in 2006.
I think it's a bit more complex than that. I think for one, well, let me finish.
More complex.
I think it's these games are selling insanely well, so why would they switch the formula up? Like,
and that's the problem.
That's the problem.
That's
like,
always the problem.
And that's the problem. Because like Simon, I know you've been calling out these games for years, but you buy them every year. And so do I. Like, and I have massive issues with the games. Like, look, okay, maybe not every year, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Well, I try and buy them secondhand.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Yeah. People buy these games despite having issues with them. If you're Game Freak, you may even look at your own game and be like, hey, this isn't what we want to do, but it sells well. You're going to keep doing the same thing over and over again. So I kind of think, I kind of understand why they've done it, like why they've been doing the same thing. As for how the game looks, I don't want a super realistic looking Pokemon game. I don't think there's any point in that. I think this game makes some really, really good positive steps in terms of like art direction. There's a lot that needs to be done, but it is a massive game. This is actually one of the most kind of like feature-rich Switch games I've played.
When I zoomed the map out, I was surprised at how big it was.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on here. No excuse for the glitches and bugs, but if anything, I now have more faith in Game Freak. I'm like, okay, you guys have a really good direction in here. Maybe you have some new people on the team. Maybe you have some new people on board. I don't know what's happened, but you're doing something daring here, and you're breaking the mold here, despite the mold having made you trillions and cajillions of dollars. Okay,
infinite money.
Like any other developer, if they could keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and printing money, they would do it. It doesn't matter who did it. I'm going to say something very controversial here that's going to give me a lot of hate. It's kind of like Nintendo with like a Smash Bros. or a Mario Kart. They are the same games over and over again. As somebody who doesn't love them, I would love them to do something different with those with those games and break them all a little bit. But what's the point? They print money. Just keep doing the same thing.
It's true. It's like how all of the Sony games are like closed third-person narrative games now.
Yeah, like, and there's a lot of walk and talk.
Yeah,
whilst
exactly.
Hey, look at the pretty scenery. Whilst nothing's happening at the moment, and we're having a meaningful conversation because that's what you care about.
So, like, we can bitch complain about these games, until we're blue in the face, until the Miltanks come home. I had to find another Pokemon pun.
It's all about that money, baby.
But it's all about the money. And look, if you are an investor, if you're one of the higher ups at Game Freak or any company that keeps producing what is essentially the same game over and over again, and they're selling, they're not going to listen to somebody being like, I don't like your game for this reason. They're going to be like, well, no, we actually have data that proves that people like these games. As in bought these games.
As in, paid money for, yeah.
Which, look, that is what it is.
Yeah, like they almost if it was to be any changes, they almost need to have like a cyberpunk level reckoning of sorts.
That's the thing. I feel like this is
It was close.
as close as we're going to get. But again, part of the problem is the fact that the inherent gameplay underneath is really damn fucking fun. And the bugs that we're running into are more goofy and silly, and there's
Bethesda
not
level.
so much. Yeah, it's more Bethesda than it is Cyberpunk in terms of.
And Bethesda
bugs.
constantly gets a pass. They get a pass every
And
time.
they goddamn shouldn't be.
Because
But-
they made 2 good games, and then that was it.
But I can't complain because I keep buying their dumb shit games.
Yeah, me too. I'm part of that problem as well.
Looking forward to the next one.
Yes. Shut up. Shut up.
1,000 planets, Jesse. 1,000 planets.
1,000.
Oh, God. All right, let's wrap it up. I'm sad. I'm sad, guys. I've upset myself. If
You know
wanna
what I'm sad about? I'm gonna I wanted to harp on one thing. The
Go
reason
for it.
why I think the gyms are such a downgrade is I feel like, and maybe when you get to the end game it changes. Sword and Shield's gym fights were so good. I loved them so much. I loved the music. I loved being in a
Yep.
stadium. I loved having the
Yep.
cheering audience.
Mhm.
They were awesome. And then
Okay,
this is like back
they
to
were
like
cool. I'm remembering them.
this plain
Oh,
arena, and
actually-
then you just sort of try to Pokemon.
But
Real
it's a
quickly,
plain-
sorry, before we do end, I can't believe I didn't bring this up. Terrestrializing is fucking dumb. Why does my Pokemon look like something that's in Grandma's fine china cupboard?
one of those crystal statues from like a
Just
jewelry store.
like a bit of like a little trinket. Like,
Look,
what?
I think it's a dumb looking mechanic. However, the gameplay changes that it makes
Quite interesting.
quite clever.
Yeah, I like
Quite
that,
fun.
but the look of him is
Yeah.
just like,
But the look of them is ridiculous, and I
It's
think
very unnecessary.
I think if I'm going to criticize one part of the art direction that isn't, just the world's graphics as a whole, it would be that. Because I'm like, this is beyond, like, it's beyond
terrestrialized
fun.
my cloth before, which, if you don't know what we're talking about, sounds like the weirdest sentence that's ever been spoken. I terrestrialized my cloth. That's what the kids are calling it
See a
nowadays.
doctor about that.
Yeah, it's very itchy. But its little glass hat, it's little fascinator that it wears, it looks like the what's that like ancient Greek building, the Pantheon.
Yeah,
It looks like that made out of glass. I'm like,
yeah.
what do you mean?
Because like
Yeah.
I
seen
like the
the
idea. Yeah, it
brown
really
type
is just like the design of it, because the gym, like it was the first gym, but I did it second, caught me off guard with that feature, because I was just like, oh, you're sending out a Sudowoodo? I've got this one beat. And they were like, no, you don't, mate. I'm like, so I like that the Terra whatever gives the Pokemon a different type. I like that.
Simon
but
and
just-
I walked into that gym and just instantly walked out with a win. Sudowoodo, meet fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I walked in with my Quaxley. I'm like, oh yeah,
they'll hold
Sudowoodo,
it.
rock type. Terra into like a grass type. I'm like, well, I need to send out a different Pokemon now, so you can
Yeah.
go fuck yourself.
And it's again, it's like it's a fun mechanic. Have you seen the ground type Terra hat, as I'm going to call it?
They are Terra hats, the terrible hats.
Yes, terrible hat. It's like
It's
four
like- sorry,
layers of dirt.
You know what they look
and
like?
It's like
If Final Fantasy
Gone.
characters went to the Melbourne Cup. Because all crystals and
I
big.
can't disagree.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
that wasn't
no,
bad. That
I
wasn't
cannot disagree.
I love those crystals.
Shit, you're so right. I hate that. I hate that you're right about that.
141 episodes, gotta happen once. You know what they say? A
Was an
broken
inevitability.
clock is right once every 141 podcast. That old saying. Now, if you want to listen to the 140 other episodes of our podcast, we are on Spotify and iTunes. There's also a few bonus ones mixed in there. There's also a bunch of dialogue options episodes thrown in there as well. Search for them. You can hear our lovely boys, Kyran and Joel, on that show. So go there, give them some love, give us a review, tell your friends, subscribe, do all that shit. You know what I mean? We're on all the social medias now. Ooh, this is gonna be pretty
Oh.
fancy. We're at Story Mode AUS at Facebook, the Corpse of Twitter, Instagram, and now we're on Hive. So come there.
Yay.
We're learning the ropes. We're blindly walking our way through, but it is really nice there. I like it. It's kind of cozy.
It is nice.
It is cozy.
We are also on Twitch. We record these podcasts live every week at twitch.tv/storymode AUS. I'm getting better at that. We also do a few gaming streams. Simon, you're playing some Pokemon this weekend, aren't you?
Yeah. So I'm gonna start
boy.
a new save file on one of my other profiles on my Switch, and we'll see how long it takes for everything to break irreversibly.
Can't wait.
Pick a different starter. Pick the cat.
Oh, I absolutely will. I might actually go for Quaxley.
Fuck yeah, Quaxley.
Gross.
The second and first stages aren't great, but stage 1 Quaxley, the best starter, and I won't hear otherwise.
Now you can also follow us on Twitter and on Hive. Oh, look at this! Look at us go. I'm at Jesse Spanner. Simon
I'm at Sci421.
and Kyran.
And I'm at LemonManX.
Beautiful! What an episode. Put that in the bank and lock the bank and whatever else you do in a bank. Guys, hope you had fun with that one. It was a pleasure
Jesus
talking Pokemon with you guys. He has nothing to do with this show, that one.
He has abandoned us. Come back, Arceus.
I'm going to play some Pokemon, and I can't believe that I'm saying that with such, like, joy in my heart. These games used to be a chore. But
I'm going to play some Pokemon.
look,
Yeah,
it's
for what it's worth, me too. I'm gonna go find myself a new water type that can take more than one punch to the face.
It's broken. Look, the game is broken, but it's fun. It's like hanging out with me. And with that, I hope you guys had fun listening. Hope you're having fun with Pokemon. If you're not, come on social media. Tell us why you don't like it. If you are, tell us who your favorite Pokemon are. Do something. I don't know. But stay safe. Play some games, and we'll catch you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Stop recording now.